Bolt your windows. Lock your doors. Check your closets. Look under your bed. And then prepare yourself. For it's another episode of Dark Knight of the Podcast.
Hola, everyone. I've just returned from Spain and I feel like I'm glowing because I've been baking in the 65-degree sun. I mean, it's only fall over there, I guess. I guess you would call it fall. It feels like fall. It never gets full on winter over there. It was chilly. But for me, a Clevelander, I felt like I was in the middle of like a tropical, exotic tropical paradise. And I didn't know that places like Spain and Italy and Sicily have like palm trees and things. Like, I don't know what I expected, but I was over there and I was like, oh my God, even though it's like chilly and I'm wearing a brisk coat, I feel like this is a tropical paradise. But I'm back now. And even though it was a beautiful, beautiful time away, I did still have an emotional breakdown, all things considered, watching our nation crumble. But here we are to have some escapism. And while the movie selection for this week isn't necessarily what I would describe as one of my favorites, I do think it's a perfectly like idiotic escapism for like what my brain needed. I needed to shut down. I got back from this long ass trip. I'm talking 9-hour flights, Troy. You know me. I can't do a long flight. They had to sedate me, carry me off the plane. But then I got home and I was like, you know what? I don't want to watch a movie that's going to make me think, but I do want to watch C.H.U.D. So here we are, Troy.
Here we are. And I'm glad you used that word escapism, Roger. I really am, because I feel like we need to, at this moment in time, realize and understand that some people just want to watch a movie to escape what's going on, right? Some people just want to be immersed in a fictional world and not have to really worry about the true things that are going on. So I'm glad you used that word, because that's me. I use films for escapism. I want to watch a film to sometimes just forget about everything else. And this one definitely puts you in a world, a definitely fleshed out world with a group of characters that are, I would say, intriguing, unique. You got, when John Goodman, Roger, popped up in this film, I'm like, what the fuck? Fucking John Goodman. Just playing a cop in a diner harassing this poor waitress trying to do her job, and fucking Daniel Stern. I mean, I'm like, wow.
I mean, there's a cast of millions in this film.
There is. But, I'm glad you picked this film, because this is a film, talk about VHS cover days, right? When you used to go into mom and pop video stores and choose a film based on the VHS covers. And we've really talked about that in past episodes. This one always was one of the ones that caught my attention, because you have that fucking monster hand coming out of a fucking sewer. Who doesn't want to see that? I swear to God, I had seen this movie before, but I don't think I have.
Oh my God, really?
Because no, I don't remember. Here's the thing: is I always thought this film was like a almost like a B movie, like monster, like mayhem film where just monsters are coming up out of the sewers and ripping people apart. It's not that at all. This movie actually, Roger, is for me super, super lethargically paced.
Oh, Troy, I got to tell you, I picked C.H.U.D based solely off the memories I had of as a child, watching this film and being specifically impacted by the final 20-minute act. But I'm talking like this, I was probably like 12. I haven't watched C.H.U.D since. There was a while where I remember you couldn't find C.H.U.D. C.H.U.D was a rare gem. Like, if you found C.H.U.D, oh boy, you're in for a treat. And it's formed this kind of almost cult fan base that I think is really celebratory of this film. And I think it comes with some of the obscurity, because it is one of those titles that you're not going to just find C.H.U.D anywhere until recently, thanks to streaming. it was one of those films like when you watch it, you like made an event out of it. And so I think like aspects of this film, it makes sense. It's trashy, it's absurd, it's just the concept of like homeless people turning into mutant creatures and attacking people is honestly like just so sleazy. But there's a huge aspect of this film that feels like, I mean, if you're going to do it, I wish they would have gone so much further. I wish these things would have been ripping women apart. I wish these chuds, I wish they would have eaten that child with a bowl cut. Like, there is so much potential for this movie to hit harder. There are times it hits, but God, I really wish Chud was just the movie you started to describe. The crazy monsters coming out of the sewers movie.
It's the monsters almost are like backseat in this film.
Yeah.
Like they really are. Like you have so much other stuff going on and the monsters are just kind of like in the back seat. We don't really focus on them a lot until you get to like the final, 15 minutes of the film. But by then I'm like, oh my God, I have sat through all of this just stuff that's really not interesting to me. But I do think that perhaps there's enough good stuff in the last 15, 20 minutes that makes it worth a view. I know there's a sequel, which I've never seen, but yeah, I mean, this is an interesting film to get into. It's from 1984. You picked this a while back, and then we had to wait to record because you went on your little excursion. And I did have a really fun time with our guest host, Brett Laurie, where we talked about another fucking just balls to the wall, wacky ass film that I was so glad we got to revisit. And also, while you were gone, Roger, I took an opportunity to, and I want to say this to the listeners, I took an opportunity to get us caught up a little bit on our Patreon. Yeah, because we still have that. And we have our faithful patrons that subscribe to us each month. And I felt like we were neglecting them. So I got on and I gave 3 really good Patreon episodes. So if you are wanting bonus content, right now there is over like 150 bonus episodes on our Patreon that you can access just by subscribing. I did my Grammy predictions on our Patreon, Roger, so I know. Just random.
Well, I'm going to be popping on there. I haven't told you this yet, but I've got a personal recent review of the movie Companion. Have you seen it yet?
No, but you know what I did watch finally?
What?
Substance.
Oh, what did you think? Save it for the Patreon, but give us a brief explanation of what you're feeling.
Oh, Demi better win the Oscar. Give her that Oscar.
I had made a comment, and I just want to clarify, and then we're going to jump into this review. I was in my ideal dream world, because let's be honest, the Oscars and the Golden Globes, it's rare that the same actress wins both. One is a little more of like popified mainstream. The other one is like for the sake of the craft, And so I was in my ideal world. I really wanted Cynthia fucking Erivo to get that goddamn Golden Globe. So that way, to me, more honestly, I want her to get the Oscar, the Academy Award. Do I still think though there's a weird chance that she's going to get it? Yeah, there's something about me that feels electric this year where I feel like the fact this is a horror movie is actually, people are like, all right, you know what? Yeah, let's go see it. Let's check this movie out. I'm feeling that. Are you?
Oh, if you go to every major publication that like Variety and the awards watch daily, everyone's predicting her to win. Her closest competition is Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here, I believe, which is a Spanish language film. But I think Demi Moore, I think very, very, very good chance of winning. I think the narrative is great. It's kind of like a comeback. If we think about like Brendan Fraser, who won Best Actor a couple years ago for The Whale, very similar narrative. Here's an actor who did great things in the 90s, was in all these blockbuster films, and then just kind of fell off until he came back and got this critically acclaimed just role that she could sink his teeth into. She did the same thing. And it's not like The Substance, it got nominated for Best Picture and Best Director. So there's obviously love for it. And I think her Golden Globe speech sealed the deal for her, honestly. If she wins the SAG, she has the Oscar in the bag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to see that at this point, because I think the Oscar feels right for this specific performance, because there's something that doesn't feel so mainstream about it. it's pushing boundaries. It feels groundbreaking, but yeah, fingers crossed. But speaking of Oscar-worthy performances, John Hurd in the Chud, which honestly, he's fine. I mean, like, nobody in this is bad, but I've got an issue with Chud. And I feel like any time in Chud, there is a moment where people are supposed to be really reacting with fear or something that big is going to happen. I feel like there's so many missed opportunities for just like moments in this movie. I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
There's a revelation connected to the opening scene that comes out of nowhere that I was like, what the fuck? Because the actor's reaction throughout the whole film, I would have never guessed. But even when they find her decapitated head floating on a beach, she seems not bothered by it. But yeah, this film, yeah, you are right. That's one of the things about this film is so many people react, or their reactions are so like weird and muted and just not how I would. Like, you have these people that know that this monster, they've been attacked by this monster in the sewer, but they're staying down there. Like that bag lady, her ass knows there's a fucking monster there. She's still going down there every day.
Oh my God. That
We'll get to her. We will get to her. But I mean, yeah, this film, it's C.H.U.D, guys, from 1984. If you have not seen it, I do recommend checking it out before listening to the review. It's on Tubi right now, along with the sequel, which I'll probably get around to checking out at some point. I mean, this is a very... I talked about like escapism in a film putting you into a specific world. This film definitely feels like dirty, sleazy New York City, 1980s.
Yeah.
A strangely, Roger, isolated New York City. Because this opening scene, you got this woman out with her little dog, walking her dog, and on a city street in New York City, and there's not a soul around. I'm like, I have never seen New York City that dead. Like, there are people everywhere.
Yeah. That poor Yorkshire Terrier just strutting down the pavement, one long shot. And it does kind of set like a fun tone. Like, it's just this random, unassuming woman. And within seconds, she is sucked to her death. She's the only person, I'm convinced she's the only person in this film who actually screams in a moment of terror. No one screams in this movie. There were so many times that I'd be screaming my head off, glowing-eyed monsters busting in my house. I'd be screaming. Nobody here screams, but this gal does, as she's presumably, devoured by these things. And you see this like very rubbery hand grab her by the ankle, and then she loses her shoe, and that bleeds into what is the opening credits. I love this long shot of the street sweeper. It feels very New York as you see the shoe get sucked into it, and it's passing all the homeless people. It does a good job. This opening, it's very bleak. It's very stark. It's not like it's heavily scored. You just hear the sound of the street sweeper, and it just makes it feel very desolate and very just like hopeless. Like, there's this weird sense of just like sadness that comes with this opening. And this woman, like, no one even sees what happened. She's just poof. She's gone. She's lost to the sewers.
Along with that dog. The dog got pulled down too.
That Yorkshire Terrier, that poor dog.
Which we see, yeah, but you do see some nice imagery of like I said, the homeless, or how in the film they become referred to as the undergrounders, because in the film basically the premise of the film is a bunch of these undergrounders people who live underground. They live in the various sewer systems and tunnels beneath New York City have become missing. And we learn this through kind of a roundabout way, because after we get the opening scene and we see some of these undergrounders who are now up walking around and trying to find, whatever food, we transition into the apartment of who we find out is George Cooper, who is photographing these people down on the street. And his backstory, Roger, he's a photographer who has made a kind of a name for himself by photographing these people, and it's gotten him a lot of acclaim. And he even gets a call from someone named Derek, who is demanding that he get these photos done for this story that he's doing. And so George, as we're introduced to him, it seems like he's going to be our protagonist, which I guess in a way he is, but I would say there's not really a major lead in this character. It's like the film takes like four different men and divides them into the leads. Does that make sense? Like, you had 4 different leads, 4 different characters who...
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The characters are, it's weird. Like, I like an ensemble piece. Like, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the way that the characters are written here, like, none of the personalities are so dynamic that one of them rises up as like the lead in charge. Like, even the cop, even Bosch, or whatever he is, the sergeant, whatever his title is, that's in charge of the case. Even he, like, for being what he is and who he is, I feel like he could be a lot bigger, a lot more aggressive, a lot more, he could have more bite to him. It's not like the actors are doing a bad job. It's just everyone feels very understated in everything they're doing. Like, you meet Lauren, the girlfriend, and she's sexy and she's fun, but like her story arc is so bland. She's a model, and that's all it is. She's a pregnant model. We find out she's pregnant, and we talk about it once, and then it's never talked about again. And it's just one of those things. Like, I feel like there's so much potential here to, if they would have picked one of these storylines to make the main focus and just given it a little more love and care, like it maybe made the police procedural a little more secondary or something like that, I feel like it would have felt a little more balanced. Because as it stands, you got a bunch of characters, but yeah, they don't feel really dynamic. They all kind of just move the story along, and nobody, maybe AJ stands out as the most eccentric. He has the most character, the most personality, but even he kind of blends into the scenes. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the characters?
Yeah, none of them are, like you said, I think that's the problem, is none of these characters are really fully fleshed out. None of them really have distinctive personalities. Like, I feel like Bosch, Cooper could be interswitched. Like, that could have been one character. I understand you need a police character in this film, but you definitely, Bosch's role, even though I think he's maybe a little bit better than Cooper, you didn't really need to focus so much on that character. It could have been combined. And then, like, yeah, Lauren, I don't even know why she's in this film, to be honest with you, because she really does nothing. I mean, she gives us a few moments of, I guess, what's supposed to be suspense, like this particular scene where you were introduced to her and she's putting like zit cream on her butt because she has a pimple on her butt. And we find out that she has arranged a photo shoot for her and George to promote a perfume. And so he needs to get ready for that. She's trying to find her jewelry. He tells her he hasn't brought it up from the basement yet. If you're going to bring boxes into why the fuck wouldn't you just bring them upstairs? You just put them in this random basement that anybody can access. But that's fine. She goes down to the basement. Along the way, Roger, she meets that elfin woman. This woman looks like
that elfin woman.
She looks like an elf.
That's what I am. She looks like a Keebler elf.
It's
Francine. She looks like she would be sitting on a flower petal, sipping a droplet of water. She looks like Julia Roberts in Hook, is what this woman looks like. And she's there. And here's the thing. Talk about weird characters. I just think everyone here is not utilized to their fullest extent. You've got this Fräulein woman, this fair, malnourished woman, and her pleasant child. I don't know anything about this kid. He's there, and then poof, he's gone. Ripe for the development in incorporation. So when they do meet an inevitable grisly demise, I want to know more about it. I care about it. This woman, she's got one scene coming up with a bunch of boxes, and then you never see her again. Like, she's gone. And I'm like, why even bother bringing the character into the story? Like, just skim them out. Like, get rid of them and focus on what's going on. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, she introduces herself and her little son, Justin, who does have a little bowl cut that was popular, I guess, at that time. Mute little kid. He doesn't say a word. He's just running around the hallway. And, yeah, so Lauren goes downstairs to look for her jewelry. Do you notice, like, she doesn't... You notice she just gets into the box and pulls the piece out that she wants and just leaves the rest of it down. I mean, she doesn't even take her jewelry box. She just leaves it in the basement. But while she's there, she does hear, like, pipes and stuff jangling below her. Like, we're like, ooh, something's happening underground.
Like, let's be clear. When you come into C.H.U.D, things are already awry. Like, it's not like you're, like, learning about the early developments of something. Like, homeless people have been disappearing.
14 homeless people have
14 homeless
vanished.
people. These poor homeless people. And that now this sensible woman and her dog. So, like, now the stakes are high because this gal happens to be connected to the story we find out
Oh,
here.
don't. That's the part that. Okay.
That's I know
Yes.
we're not going to give it away, but what are the chances of this broad? What are the chances?
So Lauren hears the banging on the pipes and something below her. And then we cut to Francine. And I think, okay, we're going to follow this woman, and she's interesting looking. She's kind of like a, I don't know, what do you want to call her? Like a hippie type. She's, I don't know, elf and hippie. But she's walking down the street and she like hears something in these boxes, and all of a sudden, like these boxes like shoot up in the air, scare the shit out of her, scares the shit out of me too at first. And then she like goes over to examine, and we see like these boxes were piled on top of a manhole, and the manhole cover has been pushed off, and there's like blood everywhere. Now, does she do anything? I want to know, did she like go get a police officer and be like, excuse me, there's like a bloody manhole over here? We don't know, because it cuts away and we never see her
Missed
again.
opportunity. Could have been such a bigger development. Like, this is the first time that it seems, or at least it's the first time for us, the viewers, to see kind of the things that are happening. And I think, like, it seems to be a trend now that these things are found with like a ton of viscera, open manholes. It's very clear that it's coming down into the sewers. They're already starting to suspect that this is something that's going on a bigger scale, because when you meet Bosch, he's really rattled by it. This is the one thing that they talk about over the whole course of this developing police procedural, is Bosch is like the one who's really like, my superiors are saying I should not be pursuing this any further, but I am motivated to figure out what's going on here. And so I do like that driving force for him. Like, it's not like he's a bad character. He's very impassioned. I guess it makes sense why when we learn out like what's going on, but I don't dislike his character by any means.
No, I like Bosch a lot, and upon multiple viewings, I grew to like his character even more. But I will tell you, like, this point in the film is, kind of what started to my first viewing. It started to lose me, because anytime a film gets too bogged down in police procedural, I kind of want to tune out, which is interesting because, I do love true crime, and I listen to tons of true crime podcasts that feature like police interrogations and stuff like that. But if I'm watching a monster movie or a slasher movie, I don't want to be bogged down with just a bunch of dialogue about what's going on in this police station. And you get a long bout of dialogue. You're introduced to Bosch here. You find out he's currently looking at a report on a stolen car that kind of leads to him saying, I have bigger issues than worrying about a stolen car. I don't know how much longer I can keep it under wraps. You need to call Chief O'Brien and let him know we need to get this out. So he does call O'Brien, and O'Brien, who is the chief of police, very sternly tells him, absolutely not. You have to keep it up. You have to keep it under wraps. And he hangs up on him. It took me a while. This is a reporter, right? Murphy's a reporter who shows up and wants some information on what's going on. And Bosch is like, you know what? I don't have time for this. I have to go interrogate a bag lady who tried to steal one of my deputies' guns. And you go into this room, and there is this very familiar looking bag lady just beaming. She's so happy that she tried to steal this gun.
This is a weird development with this old crow, bringing her in. I mean, first of all, she's rough around the edges. And another character who really deserved more of an arc. Like, you're going to bust this broad out, and you're going to tell me that you're not going to have her end up as part of the final showdown. I don't know. Something. Her and the homeless teaming up on one of the chuds. Something. But she gets it introduced, and she has like a connection with George, because George likes shooting photographed homeless people, as we've come to find out. And so I guess she's one of his models. She's one of his prized models that he likes to photograph. So she calls him, and she's like, "Get me the fuck out of here." I like that about her, though. She's feisty.
Yeah, that was a weird development, because like Bosch comes in and he's like to his deputies, he's like, "Yo, have you gotten her to talk? Like, why did she want this gun?" And the deputy's like, "I have no idea. She won't say a word." And Bosch's response is like, "Well, did you give her one phone call?" And I'm like, who do you think she's going to call? But lo and behold, Roger, she calls somebody. And we're about to find out who, because we cut to Lauren's photo shoot, Roger. She's trying to be all sexy. Cooper's there just taking all these pictures. And then they take a break. This whole scene makes me like very kind of sour on this character, Cooper, because he just turns into a huge asshole. Like he starts like berating her and like screaming about, oh, they're draping you with squirrel carcasses to sell their shitty perfume that smells like shit. And here she is. She's like, you need to calm down because this could be my big break. Like this is a national campaign. And he is like just being a fucking asshole out of nowhere. I'm like, what is this? Like, what is this supposed to be? I'm super confused.
Right. And it's an aspect of his personality that's not explored enough. Because like at first he's really kind of shitty, but then they have a development where then it seems like they're very much in love. And then they never have like any resolution either way. Like it just doesn't feel like there are different plot points that you hit along the way. Like they don't feel like connected. They feel like they're throwing these random things out about their personal development as a couple, but they feel disjointed. They don't feel like they would naturally fall one after the other. So yeah, it's a weird relationship. Again, I have no issue with him or her. Like he's quite good in the role. She's fine. She's got crimped hair. I can't take my eyes off her hair, but like they don't really have a shit ton of cool stuff to do.
No, and like I said, the way he like goes on Hinge and is like screaming at her, I kept thinking, why are you with this dude? That was my first question. Like, he's a dickhead he's like going to ruin this opportunity for you. And I thought, okay, this could get interesting. We're going to see some interesting character dynamic and revelations between these two. Does it go anywhere? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What happens is he gets a call. Well, what happens is there's a little break. So he goes to call and check his messages. And of course, he has a message from Derek, the guy that called earlier, wanting to know, Garrett tells him, forget it. I don't need your photos. I got different ones. But then he has a call from the bag lady. And she's like, George, I'm in jail right now. And you think I wanted to talk to this fucking machine? And what does he do, Roger? His wife is in this photo shoot that could change her life. He's supposed to be photographing it. He fucking leaves. He walks out to go pick this bag lady up from jail.
Here's the thing, Troy, is like in my mind, here's what I was thinking. I was like, it's got to be his mom. Like, I was like, maybe his mom is a homeless woman. Maybe that's why he's so moved to photograph them. Like, wouldn't that have been a good development here to make me buy kind of everything that's happening? Sure. It's better than just him at this homeless woman's beck and call. Well, like, for no reason. Like, how does she even know his phone number? I guess people knew it was the 80s. Maybe it's more common. But like, is she that close with this guy? How long has he been photographing her? Do they have this kind of relationship? I'm just surprised that they're that close. Like, where does this come from? Is he fucking her? Maybe he's fucking her.
Can you imagine that? Oh boy.
Sensual.
Yeah, she's very sensual. But yeah, and then so back at the police station, Bosch comes across he's looking at the missing person reports, and he sees that all of these people have been like missing from the same area, Lafayette Street, and he also he recognizes the name A.J. Shepherd of the person who has filed the report. So he's going to go check it out, and of course he does. He goes to a soup kitchen where Reverend A.J. Shepherd, played by Daniel Stern of all people, Home Alone's Daniel Stern, is the Reverend, and he runs this soup kitchen. He works with the homeless, and he basically is very, very concerned because 14 of his people that come to his soup kitchen for food each day have just gone missing in 2 weeks. And the weird thing about it, he tells Bosch, is it's the only ones that live underground. He's like, they're undergrounders. These are the people that they know the tunnel system and the sewer system under the city, and that's where they live. Well, they have been missing. They're missing 14 of them.
That's a lot of homeless people to go missing. But at the same time, like in New York, I mean, like, I feel like it's like Munchkin Land. People come and go so quickly. Homeless people, maybe they would bunker down and just be living in the sewers. I don't know. Like, maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe it does. To me, it just seems like a lot of people that rely on this Reverend man. And like, what's he getting out of it? Like, is he like a former homeless person? Or is he benefiting some way? You got that woman who produces a flower for him. She looks thrilled to be in his presence. And it's just like, it's weird because I don't understand, like, what's AJ's end game here? Like, when I first meet him and he's running a soup kitchen, I almost feel like he's got to be manipulating something. Like, he almost comes off as kind of like I would expect him to be, I don't want to say a villain, but like an antagonistic character, but he's not. He's just another guy who's helping solve the C.H.U.D situation. And it just, he's weirdly kind of like shoehorned into the story in a way. I don't know. He just doesn't feel like he connects with the rest of the characters.
He definitely is very eccentric and very, just he has a very strong personality. And like anytime Bosch is, not really giving him the attention or focus that he thinks, he definitely gives it to him. It's like, you need to listen to me. This is what's going on. And he's like, the only one I can have you really talk to is this Val guy. So you get this man over there that's eating his, whatever it is, soup and bread, like glaring at Bosch and AJ. And so he goes over and Val basically starts just like rambling about like creatures and something about how they have the power to shut the sky. And so when Bosch goes to get closer to him, he like jumps forward and like stabs the table with a fucking knife. I don't know if giving this man a knife was the smartest idea. And Bosch even says, he's like, how the fuck did he get a knife like that? And Shepard's like, well, all the undergrounders are looking for weapons now. See, so here's the thing. All the undergrounders know that there's something going on underground. Then quit fucking going underground. That's the solution. But this fucking bag lady is traveling through these tunnels. I'm like, something's, why are you keep going down there?
It's just, they keep going down. And like, I hate to say they're bringing it on themselves, but like, once it gets to a certain point, I mean, you can arm yourself with a butter knife. You can do whatever you got to do. But like, I don't think you can go up against these things with glowing eyes. And so these people, I think that I respect them wanting to defend their home, but already I would think the level of fear would be so much higher. Val, now we got Val, and he's here. He's looking to give a Shakespearean soliloquy. Like, this guy, he's just like so into his character, and it's really over the top. And obviously he's supposed to be mentally unstable. But like, that's the level of fear I guess I would expect from everybody, considering that 14 of them have gone missing. And some of them have apparently encountered these things. Like, you meet this guy, is it Victor, who has a majority of his thigh has been devoured, has been ripped off. Like, I mean, like that, like, I don't know. Like, he seems even strangely comfortable with the fact that he has to defend himself against these things instead of being like, get me some help.
But they're leaving him down there. Like, they're like, what? You're not taking this man to safety?
That's what I'm saying.
You're leaving him in the tunnel to be devoured even more. Like,
take me with you.
I don't know. And again, I hate to be that, but yeah, I think you kind of you had my sentiment as well. It's like, well, you guys are kind of bringing it on yourself if you keep going down there. And that's why we find out that's why this bag lady was trying to steal a cop's gun, because she needed it to protect Victor, who we find out is the one that has been attacked by one of these things. Yeah, George, the photographer, is the one to go to the police station to like bail out the bag lady. And he picks her up, and he's asking her, what the hell did you do? Why did you need the gun? And she's like, well, I needed it for Vic. And he's like, well, why did Vic need it? And she's like, if Vic says he needs a gun, he needs a gun. So basically, she leads him through the subway system, down this fucking tunnel. I mean, she takes him into the depths of New York City. I mean, below New York City, these tunnels, this tunnel system, they're climbing ladders, they're crawling through fucking holes in the walls. I mean, this is a long drive. I'm like, where the fuck are you at? You're like a mile below the city. This takes forever for them to get to where they finally arrive upon Victor, who is like laid up in this little cubby hole. He is injured. And Bosch is like, Vic, what's wrong? Why did you want the gun? And he's like, to shoot those ugly fuckers. And George is like, I want to take you to the hospital. Let's go. And Victor's like, no, I don't want to go. And like this random Hugo guy comes out of nowhere to try to attack George, and the bag lady has to pull him off. But we do realize that like when she pulls the blanket away, we see a big old fucking chunk of Victor's leg has been like tore off.
It's enough of a wound that I would like, if I was George, I would be like, oh, holy shit, we've got to life flight this guy out of here. I don't know how we're getting him out, but we got to get him out. I mean, like, you got to get him in a wheelbarrow or something. And I get it. I'm sure, look at this guy, Hugo. I'm sure that there's varying levels of mental illness in this little household. Like, I don't know, I get this group of people living together, like varying degrees of mental illness. You know, Hugo can't even say a word, but can beat someone with a stick if needed. And then you've got other people who just are refusing to leave because they just want to refuse that care. They don't want to have to report to a doctor. Like, I get it, but like, I also think like you see that wound and like, you can't tell me that there's any reason why this guy, he's going to die from fucking infection. Like, you got to get him seen, you know?
It's all like, yeah, it's all pussy and just it's shredded leg meat. But yeah, and also while they're going down there, they do run into like other people who live down there. When they see them, they take off. So there's a lot of people that are still like populating these tunnels, even though, like I said, it's very common knowledge that people are being injured and going missing. But there's a whole group of people that still want to go down there. Bosch is back with Shepard, and Shepard is like, that photographer bailed out the bag lady. And so Bosch is like, well, I need to know if he recognizes any of these people. Bosch starts pulling out these pictures and showing them to Shepard. Shepard's and saying, do you recognize any of these people? And Shepard's like, why? Why do you want to know if I know any of these people? That's not important. The important thing is these people are missing. And Bosch is like, well, other people have gone missing as well. And Bosch is like, what are you talking about? Oh, I get it. That's why you're hounding me now, because I bet you it's important people that have gone missing. Right? It's governor officials. It's people that are important, and you guys don't give a shit about missing people unless they're important. So who is it? Who is it that went missing? And Bosch is like, my wife. And it's the broad from the opening scene. This man has not acted one bit upset, bothered, preoccupied this whole film for this to be a revelation that it was his. Don't you think he'd be like raising hell? He's the police captain. He should be all over the place looking for his fucking wife.
Well, and like, I would think there'd be a certain level of like just distraction. Like, he seems very fixated on the job, and I understand it's his job is to solve the problem, but like, I feel like it would be getting to him more. And it just seems like his character is, when you find this revelation, he's just like not shaken enough. Like, he has this moment where he sits, this is a little bit later, but he sits and he like recalls how his wife was putting herself through college. That 60-year-old woman wasn't doing no such thing. I'm telling you that. but to support the Yorkie. But like, I mean, and it just seems so dislocated, like from the emotional elements of this. And so it just doesn't feel to connect. Like, I'm surprised by it. Everything here seems so, when it's not moving at a snail's pace, you're rushing through so much shit that I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? You're just throwing this out of nowhere? That now, like, this is your wife? Like, okay. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem fully thought out. But like, whatever. It's a movie about mutant underground dwellers. Like, maybe I'm nitpicking this thing too much.
But even like when he tells Shepard that it's his wife, he doesn't seem all that real concerned about it. And because Shepard's like, oh no. And Bosch is like, yeah, we need to move on. And this is when Shepard asks him what he knows about the EPA probe that's going on beneath the city. Bosch is like, well, I know it happens, regularly, and it lasts about a week. And Shepard's like, well, this one has been going on for about 4 weeks now. And so this leads to Shepard actually taking Bosch into the underground tunnels and showing him some of the stuff that him and the other undergrounders have found. Roger, there's a plastic leg. That would be concerning. All right.
That's definitely concerning. It's a boot.
Yes. There's a Geiger counter, which counts radiation or detects radiation. And Shepard is like, you know what? I called the EPA to get them to get the items returned to them because I think they're kind of important, but they didn't want nothing to do with it. They were more concerned about who I was and what my name was, and they seemed real nervous about everything.
I like that they could just call up, like he could just call them and be like, I got your boot and your Geiger counter. And they're like, oh, deal. Like they're nervous to be like, well, who are you and how'd you get that? Like, it just seems like such a plot development point, but okay. And like, there are little things here that I do like finding the Geiger counter as a fun little tool to detect when these things are getting close. Because you find out these things are chock full of radiation. And basically, like, the story is really starting to come together. Like, it's pretty clear what the fuck is going on. Once we start to get introduced to this character, Wilson, who keeps getting mentioned here and everything, it's really obvious like what's happening here. But yeah, so they got this Geiger counter, and that comes in handy. So they're starting to kind of arm themselves. They're realizing that something bigger is happening.
Well, that Geiger counter, as they're walking, it starts to go off. Like it starts to go berserk. It's beep, 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 beep. And then they hear that large growling noise, that loud. I would be the fuck out of there. But I mean, yes, this is painting a picture that there are fucking creatures down here.
Yes. Though I'm sorry, like it is going to take so much to get me into a sewer. First of all, I didn't even know sewers were this big. I thought they were just small systems of pipes that connected. But no, lo and behold, I mean, these things are huge. And they're walking through these sewers willy-nilly. It is so easy to get into a sewer in this movie. No wonder these things are pulling women down the sewers, women and dogs. It's just so easy. And like, I don't know. I just didn't think it was this accessible to be able to get into a sewer. But here we are in this underground paradise.
You know, there's the thing is there's certain cities around the United States that reportedly have these like underground sewer systems that people live in, Vegas being one of them. So yeah, I'm always intrigued by, is this like really how it is? Or these like just miles and miles and endless miles of tunnels down there and like what's living down there? It's kind of creepy to think about. We cut back to George, who gets home finally. Lauren's there, but she doesn't seem upset that he walked out of her photo shoot. Instead, she's like, I need to talk to you like right now. And he's like, nope, I want to go take a shower. I'm tired. She's like, well, I'm pregnant. I mean, right there, she's pregnant. They have this little conversation about whether she's going to keep it or not. And he's like, well, do you want to keep it? She's like, well, do you want it? I don't know if I want my child having a father that doesn't say jack shit about anything. And like, they have this whole back and forth. Should I have an abortion? Oh, it's up to you. But they both finally decide, you know what? Let's have this baby. Why not?
Let's do it. Let's have it. Let's have this child.
Around the same time, people are getting pulled into sewers. Let's just have a baby. Whatever.
Let's have this baby. After we had a strange, awkward fight, a jealousy fight in the middle of her place of work, to be honest, and probably lost her that job. Let's have a kid. But like, okay, sure. And I like a progressive woman saying, you know, there's things we can do. There are other alternatives. She says she's a progressive woman. She's got a sensible crimp to her hair. And she knows that she wants this kid. And I like that they have this little moment, this positive development between the two of them. Don't expect another one. like they share this touching moment. They're hugging. They're going to be parents. I feel like they gave us this because they're like, after this, they don't interact really anymore. So like they need something big.
No, he leaves and leaves her in the apartment and for the rest of the movie. So I don't even know I didn't look at the timestamp, but I'm assuming we're probably 35, 40 minutes into the film at this point, and we finally get some creature action because we get this random old man dragging this little girl behind him, which is his granddaughter. They're lost, I guess, on the city streets of New York. And again, Roger, did you notice nobody else is around? Like, this is isolated. This is New York City, but there is literally nobody else on the street, and it can't be that laid out because, I mean, this little girl is up, but he drags her into a phone booth to call, like, I guess his brother or something, to tell his brother, hey, we're in town, but we're lost. The whole time, this little girl is sitting on the ground in the phone booth, the bottom of the phone booth, watching the sewer manhole cover slide off. We see that rubbery creature hand come out, and she's just staring there flabbergasted. And then she starts to like pull on her grandpa's coat jacket, and he's like, what? And he turns around, and like that fucking creature throws open the door, and snatches him, like grabs the grandfather, rips him out of the phone booth as this poor little girl just sits there and watches in horror. But it is the first glimpse we get of these creatures. And I will say their eyes are very bright.
Their eyes are very bright.
That's their biggest feature, I guess, is their eyes. Otherwise, they really don't look like much.
Here's my deal with this scene, with this phone booth scene. I feel like there is a lot of sequences here that are set up. There's so much working in the film's favor. Great environments, the promise of cannibalistic sewer monsters. Like, I mean, you can't really fuck it up. Situations involving children who could be killed. You know, it's just the promise of the potential for a lot of gore. There's just so many things I'm expecting here. And like, this phone booth scene is fine. This child does not respond at all. She sits down and she looks blankly, and that's all she does. And like, again, give me a blood-curdling scream. Give me some reactions. And there's just so many things I would have loved to have seen here. They film it in a way that's very like close up, cut awkwardly, and it's so brief. I don't think this moment should be brief. I would have loved to have seen the child's POV of the thing starting to come out of the sewer. I would have loved to have seen it approaching and not just a close-up of its face breaking through the glass. I would have loved to have seen the grandfather getting attacked and struggling and getting dragged into the sewer. Like, it could have been such a fucking gnarly scene. It should have been a gnarly scene, but it feels really just kind of like rushed through it and like kind of toss away. And it shouldn't. It should be a great kill.
Yeah, it's very rushed. We don't see anything. We just see that. We see the creature for the first time. But let's be real. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but the creature design, I guess they look cool. There's a couple of cool moments with creatures later in the film, but this one just isn't it. It's just like huge glowing eyes and just like it looks like somebody wearing a plastic or a rubber suit. And yeah, we could have seen this grandfather be dragged violently into the sewer hole. We could have seen a lot of stuff that we just don't. It just cuts away and it cuts back to the police station where somebody found this little girl. I don't know. Did she call the police?
I don't think she did anything because all she's doing is standing and looking. This girl literally doesn't move her face once in the course of this film.
But she's in the police station and one of the deputies tells Bosch that, hey, we got this hysterical little girl in there and she's making up stories because she says a monster came up from the sewer and ate her grandfather. This concerns Bosch because he's starting to put things together. You know, he's starting to put all this together. The missing people, the items they have found in the sewers. Obviously, more people have gone missing than what's being reported. So he basically tells his deputy to radio in and put 2 men on every street corner for a 10-block radius. And he gets put out an all APB for Flora Bosch, his wife. This has been like 3 days, and he's finally putting an APB out for his wife. This is your wife. Like, she's been missing for 3 days, and you are finally
and your dog,
and you're finally putting an APB out.
Oh, my lazy husband, lazy police officers. But finally, it's becoming a deal, and the balls are rolling now.
But also, does Bosch, he must not have a life because he is literally everywhere. Anytime a police presence is needed in this film, he is there. But he's putting things into motion because he calls that commissioner and tells him, you know what? You are not getting out of this. We will be there at 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. If you don't show up with your little Wilson guy from the EPA, you can expect to hear about all of this on the news. And so it leaves the commissioner really no choice but to meet with him. And on the way to meet with, the commissioner and Wilson, I guess Bosch thinks it's a really good idea to bring Shepard along with him. But they also stop at George's and Lauren's apartment to, I guess, get him involved as well because they know he's been photographing these homeless people. Of course, they're not there. They don't answer. I don't know. They're not there. They don't answer. So Shepard proceeds to break in with the captain of police. They just break into this man's apartment and they steal shit because they find his photographs of all the homeless people and they find 3 specific photographs that really intrigue them. And they are this is weird because I don't remember. Did he have his camera with him? But he has pictures of Vic's leg. So he must have had his camera with him. I must have missed that part. I was like, you got these developed quite very quickly.
This is rushed through. I mean, like, this is a plot point. Like, I had to watch back through this moment specifically just to be like, what even motivated them coming here? Like, he's been talking about this photo project this whole time. So clearly they're aware that he is the one that's been photographing these people. And a lot of them are the ones that are disappearing. So again, it makes sense why they'd want to get him involved. Who knows him? Like, does Bosch really have they interacted with him much so far? He's kind of off in his own storyline. And this is what I'm saying is a lot of like these two storylines are happening completely almost separately. This is one of my gripes about the film. You got the loving couple and the model and her photographer boyfriend, and then you've got the cop sub story happening, and they're happening in tandem at the same time, but they feel so dislocated. Like, they eventually cross streams, like, as the story progresses, but, like, it just feels like you have two separate things happening that just do not feel like they're coherently connected for the longest period of time. So, like, it just feels like now that they're starting to get him involved, it feels very, like they're rushing through it. Like, they're cramming the story down our throats almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where the film gets a little messy because if you're not paying attention, none of this is gonna like make sense to you. Like, this is a film, and that's, I guess, maybe, and I hate to say this because I pay attention to films, but like when I'm watching a film called C.H.U.D, that's premise is creatures coming out of the sewer to eat people, I guess I wasn't anticipating having to pay as close attention to it as you have to. Does that make sense? I was more expecting just a popcorn, just sit back and be entertained by what's on screen. And there is so much going on with these characters and so much dialogue that is telling us instead of showing us what's happening that you really have to pay attention or you're going to be lost because there's so many characters, so many things going on. Like, yes, they go to his apartment. And I was wondering, like, how do they even know where he lives? Because he just moved in and they like, none of them know each other. I don't know. It's just weird, but they break into his apartment. They steal photos from his apartment. And then they proceed to go to the meeting with Mr. Wilson of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission and the commissioner. And these old men, this fucking Mr. Wilson could not look more of a sourpuss and pissed off if he tried.
Oh, this Mr. Wilson with his droopy dog face.
Oh, yes, this dude. But, I mean, Bosch is expressing his concerns. He's like, I got 14 missing people, and we really can't ignore it anymore because I'm starting to believe that they were murdered, and that it has something to do with the probe you guys are doing under the city. And this whole time that Bosch is giving this information about what he's thinking, they're just scoffing at him, chuckling, smirking, just dismissive of it. You just want to punch him in his smug face because he knows what's going on.
Smug. That's the word. Fucking smug. He's so smug. The whole movie, too. He's a piece of shit the whole movie, this fucking Wilson. And I do like, here's the thing, is like, I do like, out of all the characters, I think AJ, because he's eccentric, there is something a little more captivating about him. So this whole moment here where he kind of gives his big crazy speech and he's throwing the pictures and throwing shit around. I'm like, yeah, fucking go for it. You've lost 14 of your homeless friends. Like, okay, girl, let your afro down. Because he's got that big puffy hair, the same hair he's always had from here all the way through Home Alone. That's so weird to me. But okay, it's his signature look. And I think he's kind of endearing here. I do love how devoted he is. At this point, you realize like he's not in any way an antagonistic character. He's not a bad guy. He is in it just like the other heroes. There's just a lot of them. There's like a whole group of them that you're following.
Yeah, he's not here to make friends. He's not here to make friends because I love when he notices like the commissioner smirking and stuff. He lifts that fucking plastic leg up and just slams it on the table. And then he lifts the Geiger counter, slams it on the table. He's like, look, dude, look what we found. And then they show him the pictures and this old fucker, Wilson's just like, this is nonsense. And Bosch is like, yeah, and we got a young girl that says she saw a monster come out of the sewer. And they laugh at him, of course. And, Shepard, he does. He's like, gets up. He's like, you guys are wasting my time. And I'm not showing you my pictures then. I'll just take them in the newspaper. And of course, Wilson's like, what pictures? And he shows them. And, he's like, here's the guy that was attacked by what he says was a monster. And then we see the leg and they're like in awe. And he's like, so should we discuss this or should I take it to the newspaper? And I'm like, this is the character that Bosch should be. Bosch is the one that should be like taking charge. He's the captain. But you got this random soup kitchen guy that is really stepping forward and like giving these guys the hell that they deserve.
It doesn't help that each one of these three guys at certain points tries to come across as the leading guy. Like, you notice how they all wear that hat. Like, certain points, AJ feels like he's stepping up. Certain points, Bosch feels like he's stepping up. Certain points, George has the focus. Like, it's not, like you said this earlier, but like, I couldn't pin a lead in this movie if I tried, because I don't know who. Like, I do not know who I'm supposed to really be following. I know I'm following all of them, but like, you have like a buoy that you can cling to, even like in the midst of all of it. That doesn't exist here.
No. And it's interesting because it's one of the very few movies that I can think of where I could not, if you held a gun to my head and was like, who's the lead of this movie? I could not tell you. I don't think I could pick. So, and I think that's really interesting because in the midst of this, we cut back to George, who could very well be the lead. Him and Lauren are in the park and they're just having this conversation about where they're going to raise the baby. She suggests they get out of the fucking city and goes to the suburbs. And he's like, well, I can't. I my work is here. And she's like, well, this is a terrible place to raise a child. Just then, reporter Murphy, who we met earlier on in the film from one of the newspapers, approaches George and tells him, hey, we need to talk. This is important. Back at the meeting that's in progress, AJ Shepard's shenanigans have really, they worked because they get the commissioner to admit that through these probes, they have picked up on higher levels of radiation around Lafayette Street where all these people are going missing. And he also admits that they have been moving nuclear radioactive waste throughout the city via the tunnels. And Bosch is like, I thought you got a restraining order against that. And he's like, well, no, it's on appeal. And while it's on appeal, we're still allowed to do it. So yeah, so now we are getting spoon-fed. Again, if you're not listening to this film, you're going to miss out a lot. We're getting spoon-fed exactly what is going on here, what could be causing the problem. Very high levels of nuclear radioactivity paired with waste. That is not going to lead to anything good.
There's a lot of random little side characters who are being introduced here in a flurry. I just want to acknowledge, like, there is this whole scene where you've had this meeting and there's a bunch of random men that are not Wilson that are also in the meeting. And then you've got this whole group of cops that are about to go down into the sewers with their weapons, and they're joining Wilson's team of scientists. So they're all kind of there for a moment. They're all quickly dispatched here. But like, all of a sudden, like, things are moving and they're moving fast. And like, Wilson is now a major playing factor. And like, up to this point, like, we haven't really seen or heard anything of Wilson. And now that he is introduced, he is maniacal. This man is like, he is the mustache twirling villain that you would expect out of like a 1960s, like, bank heist movie, and it's just, he's so maniacal. And he will stop at nothing to make sure that his company doesn't take the fall for this, including endangering so many people's lives. And his plan that they concoct here, I am sorry, is so dangerous. like this is the most dangerous. The outcome of filling these, I'm going to just say it right now, the outcome of filling the sewers with gas sounds so much more dangerous than mutants living in the sewers already. I don't see how it's a solution. We'll get to it. But like, I'm just really I'm just kind of shocked at how like certain things here, they're just breezing by it. And so, yeah, like now, like all of a sudden, like this is becoming a thing.
I mean, the plot, Roger, kicks into high gear here. You have to sit through a lot of nonsense to get to the plot finally starting to pick up. But when it does, I will say the film's become somewhat enjoyable. Because you cut back to George and Lauren and Cooper is interrogating George about why he left a well-paying photographer job that he had to come to New York and film and photograph these undergrounders. He's like, oh, I guess for some people, fame is a little bit more important than money, right? You wanted to know where you knew that this would get you attention. He's like, no, I didn't do it for that. And basically, Cooper is there to sort of give this roundabout ultimatum to George, because he's like, I need you because I need to do a story on these sewer people. And Cooper is very adamant. He's like, then you're on your own. He's like, no, I don't think so. I don't think you're understanding me. I need your help because you have a relationship with these people, and you can work with me, and they will talk to me if you were with me because they know you. This meeting at this with this Shepherd and this is still going on, because now Shepherd is demanding to know from Wilson what the radioactive waste has to do with missing people. And he's like, there has to be a coincidence. And we have a little girl that says she saw a monster. Did she see a monster? And Wilson's like, oh, that's ridiculous. And Shepherd picks up from his response that he must have seen the monster. He's like, you saw it, didn't you? You saw a monster. And Wilson's like, oh, that's ridiculous. And this is when finally Shepherd storms out. He calls them fools, liars. He launches that fucking briefcase across the room. He throws their pictures at him, and he's like, you'll hear about this from the newspaper next. And he storms out. Well, what Bosch notices is that when Shepherd threw the briefcase across the room, a file came out of it. So he picks it up, and he sees right on the file that it says confidential with the word C.H.U.D. C.H.U.D. And he's like, C.H.U.D, what does that stand for? And they're all like, oh, we don't know. And then Wilson gets a phone call. How convenient. He gets off the phone, and he's like, oh, you want to know what it stands for? That was 2 gas company guys. They just found one. It stands for cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller. And these 2 men just found one dead. Like, this came out of nowhere real fucking fast.
This came out of fucking nowhere. And he hands it over. I would be like, if I took that phone call, I'd be like, I'm sorry, you all need to leave, or I need to leave. I don't know if we're at my office or we're at a different office. Wherever we are, you and I need to not be here. I need to meet with the people I work with. I need to discuss the problem, and we need to cover this shit up. He just hands it over. He's like, you know what? It's called cannibal humanoidist underground dweller, and it is real, and it's been killed. So you don't have anything to worry about. And I'm like, listen, first of all, I'm worried at the fact that you've been lying up until this point. Like, let's discuss that. So now it's real? That's all it took? It's real? Like, okay. Yeah, I really thought that would be something they would fight him on a bit more. But no, he just dishes out that information. No big deal.
He goes from being like just a closed, not closed, tight-lipped curmudgeon, not going to say a word, just saying nonsense, to just blurt out, oh, yeah, it's a chud. It's dead. So they all get in the car, and they arrive to like the secure location where they have to put on these radioactive protective suits. And they go in, and the doctor that's examining the body is like, well, one thing's for sure, it was once human. We don't really get to see it. We see the reaction to everybody as they see it. We see little like bits of it, but not the whole thing. And people are like, oh. And Wilson is maintaining, well, this must be the only one. There's nothing to worry about. This is it. It's dead. And Bosch is like, no, I need to send my men down there with flamethrowers because I don't necessarily believe that this is the only one down there. And Wilson's like, no, you're not. We'll go back down there, but you're doing things my way with my men.
And they just go in. They just like you get these random guys suiting up. They got flamethrowers. They got these weird ass masks and costumes that look like they're from another universe. And they're going into the sewers. And like, I don't know. I guess I thought maybe like this would be a bigger development. But these fuckers go down into the sewer, and it's maybe a matter of seconds before they're all killed. And like, there's a bunch of them. And I think this sequence coming up here sets the precedence that these mutant humanoid underground dwellers are like maybe superhuman in their strength or something, because there is a significant amount of people, and I believe all of these people are killed. Is that correct, Joy?
I mean, dispatched within seconds. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Well, and there's a lot of them, because what happens is like we cut to Wilson's guys going down there, but somehow Bosch has already arranged to have his guys go in there. So when Wilson's guys show up in white into these tunnels, they are greeted by Bosch's guys who are all in black with flamethrowers. And of course, Wilson's pissed. He's like, get your guys out of there. And Bosch is like, are you sure you want to do that? Your guys have cameras, mine have flamethrowers. Yeah, so they're watching on the monitor as these guys go into these tunnels, and yeah, they're fucking attacked. All we see is like all of a sudden screams and like the flamethrowers going off, and Bosch is like, "Oh my god, I think I see something in the flames," and then it's dead. And the cameras go dead. So yes, these things dispatched probably about 24 men in a matter of seconds.
Men with flamethrowers. And there's a moment in the camera when the men, because the men are filming it and they're seeing what they're filming, they're getting the footage back at their base, and there is like a frame in which you think you see a cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller in like running towards them, but it is so obstructed. Like I would be like, if I was watching that footage, I would be like, that ain't proof of shit. That's a homeless person. I don't know what it is. They just burn those homeless people to a crisp. But it's not enough for me to be like, I'm sold. But the moment they see this footage, they're like, oh God, it's happening. This is real. I mean, it is happening. They're correct. But like, if that wouldn't have been enough to sell me. I need more proof.
Yeah, I mean, it's all there. I mean, this is happening so quickly. We're not given, we as the audience are not even given time to digest any of this. It's just boom, 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 boom. George Cooper goes back to his apartment and he realizes his photos have been stolen, and he automatically thinks that it's Murphy. So he calls Murphy up, the reporter, and he's like, I know you got my photos. I need them back. I'll meet you at the train station in about an hour. In the meantime, Shepard gets back to his soup kitchen. Bosch is there, tells him, you know what? I actually just saw the monster. So they now both know this is real. Like, this is what's been going on. Cut to Cooper meeting with Murphy, who insists that he does not have his pictures. He's like, I didn't take your pictures. If there must be some sort of cover-up going on, and I think that now is a really good time that if there is, that we go down into the tunnels to investigate it. And this is what does get Cooper to agree to go with Murphy into the tunnels to pursue, like, we're trying to find out what is going on, if there's a cover-up, why these pictures were taken. So he goes with them.
Now everybody's in the fucking in the sewers. Like there's a certain point where there's too many people in the sewers. Lauren's the only one that's not in the sewers. She's being sensible. She's hanging out. She's taking showers. She's enjoying life. She's back at home. She keeps going down to that fucking basement looking for shit. But Lauren's, out of all the characters, Lauren really gets the least to do. And it is kind of like, meanwhile, back at the ranch, this gal's twiddling her thumbs. These guys, though, I mean, they're all so into it. And so, yeah, so now you got George going down into the sewers. You got AJ going down into the sewers. You got fucking Bosch is occasionally involved in the sewers. You got that other guy what's his name? Murphy. He's in the sewers. So like, there are too many people in the sewers. And it, like, while the sewers are they're a great visual, but like they are dark and shadowy, and I have no idea where these fuckers are. Like, it is hard to tell what's going on, which I guess is going to add to the scare factor, but frankly, it really doesn't. Like, it looks good on camera, but like, it's not like this film is ever scary. I'm just confused by what's happening. These sewers are so big.
Yeah, no, I never feel, there's never a point in this film where I think the suspense is built or that I'm scared. But we do find out that maniacal Wilson, is planning on flooding the sewers with gas. In fact, he demands that all of his men go and block the manhole covers by putting like trucks on top of them so that nobody can lift up the manhole cover so that the creatures can't come out. And he is literally going to fill below the city with gas. This, like you mentioned, seems extremely dangerous. I mean, this is going to blow up quite a big portion of the city. Although I did get a chuckle out of this line because one of his men even says, isn't this going to be dangerous? What if something happens? It'll blow up the city. And his response is, oh, it's only going to blow up sections of Soho. He's just dismissing it. Isn't that like a very gay area in New York? Soho?
Oh God. Oh, like they're killing all the gays.
So he wants to burn all the gays. He doesn't care.
This plan is deadly. This plan, if you've got someone down in those fucking sewers smoking a cigarette, heaven help us all. I mean, like, they're going to blow up New York. And I just think, like, I'm like, there's got to be another way. You got to have more soldiers, or I don't know, call somebody before you start pumping gas into the fucking sewers. You got to, like, try something that seems a little bit safer. But and that makes us hate Wilson because he's all out for himself. He just wants to make sure it's as, like, discreet as possible. They're trying to pass it off as, like, when you get this diner attack coming up, they try to pass it off as, like, a gas explosion, and that's why they're doing, like, what they're doing. But, like, up to the very end, he is trying to cover his ass. And that is one thing, is, like, if there's a character in this that you do want to see get killed, it's like you want to see it be him, because this character needs some comeuppance. I mean, he's a shitty fucking character. He's a shitty guy. He's got a droopy dog face, and I hate him.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like I said, maniacal. So Cooper and Murphy are down in the tunnel. They hear something, and Murphy actually pulls a gun out. And we then cut to Shepard, who is trying to light his gas stove. It won't light, so he has to go downstairs into the tunnel to get Val to help him. Val is, like, freaking out. This is the same guy that popped up with a knife earlier, and he's freaking out, saying, "The sky is on fire. Sky is on fire." And he, like, starts to climb out up the ladder to get out, and, like, somebody above, like, slams the lid down on him, and on his head, and he falls, and he's killed.
He's killed, the poor man. I mean, I guess he just breaks his neck. And then, like, there's that mysterious man in the polo shirt who's fucking following AJ, and, like, then puts the lock on the door. Who is that man? Do we know who that man? I have no idea. He's there. He looks like the guy. He looks like the guy from Jurassic Park that brings the shaving cream can, and with the thing hidden in it. He looks like him. He's wearing a polo. He's wearing the fucking aviator glasses. He's trailing AJ, causing mischief. I think he's sent by Wilson. I'm pretty sure he's like his lackey.
Yeah, I think there's a moment earlier where we do hear Wilson on the phone say, "Yeah, he has long scraggly hair, and he's carrying a briefcase or something like that." So it must be him. But he padlocks him.
It's not clear.
No, but he padlocks him in. Whoever it is, like, he padlocks him in. So Shepard is now trapped in the tunnel. He cannot get out. George and Murphy are down somewhere else in the tunnels, and they're exploring. Murphy again hears something like a slight growl, and he goes to check it out. And I mean, out of fucking nowhere, he is grabbed by a fucking C.H.U.D and violently yanked away. I mean, this happens so fucking quick. George tries to save him, but to no avail. The C.H.U.D rips him and just drags him away.
This is so quick. And, like, again, like, I would love to have seen more than those rubber noodle arms. Like, they've got these big old rubber arms, and they're grabbing them with their little fingers, and they're pulling him away. And there's, like, one cool shot of, like, his legs getting dragged off. But, like, overall, like, again, this great shock moment, like, this should really be hitting. You have the full recipe to make it awesome. Somehow it's just, like, it feels lacking.
Yeah. That's the thing. I keep going back to it. It's kind of what I insinuated when we started this episode, is like, for a creature feature involving sewers, you don't get a lot of mayhem at all from these creatures. Like I mentioned earlier, I think the creatures really are secondary.
You know, you talk about remaking some of your favorite titles. Give me this one. I'm gonna say right now, give me this one. You'll be seeing them with their big old glowing eyes.
As long as you kill that little bullheaded haircut kid, I'd be all for it.
Well, you're going to see that child get destroyed. He's going to get mauled to death violently on camera.
Well, here's the thing: is, like, there's a moment later in the film where you think that could happen, and I don't. You know, I'm not saying I want to see kids get killed in films, but I was like, finally, give this film some balls.
Yeah,
because it's been so just, like, lackluster, and let it go there. It doesn't. But it for a second, you're like, oh, is it going to go there? Is this going to be? But no. And whatever happened, I still want to know what happened to that elfin woman. Where is she?
And her and the child. Like, that was the scene I remember so clearly. We'll get to it. Right now, we're in the sewers, Troy. We're going into the sewers.
We are deep in the sewers with Shepard, who opens up another trapdoor. Now he has the Geiger counter, and he's going deeper and deeper, and this fucking Geiger counter thing is going ballistic. And he hears, like, growling and he's able to like peek around a corner. And what are these things doing? We have like 5 of these chuds doing like a rain dance. I mean, they're just
That's what it looks like. They're worshiping are they worshiping the fucking toxic waste? Are they praising it for what it's done to them? I don't know what the fuck's happening here. I thought they were so much more intimidating, Troy, but no, they're just
oh my God, right.
standing there hobo people.
They found the skinniest men, like
the tiniest
this would
bones.
like put me in one of these, and it's not going to be like you couldn't have found like a bodybuilder or some buff person to make it look, because these literally look, I mean, it's like Sheldon Cooper put on a, or what's his name, Jim Parsons put on a rubber suit. That is going to be not intimidating. He's wiry. Yeah, these you see 5 of them, and not one of them looks scary.
Tattered fabric. The only thing that's kind of effective is the glowing eyes. But these glowing eyes, I mean, like, Demons, I would say the movie Demons mastered the glowing eye. This film, it looks like they've got flashlights, like bright yellow flashlights, like super glued to their faces. It's shocking. And it's kind of cool. But like, yeah, these things turn around and like, I think these things could be terrifying. Have them start running at the camera. I'm convinced, though, that these actors had no peripheral vision because of these flashlights on their faces, that they can only get shots of them standing still and like turning. So you don't actually ever see these things really do much. So like you don't see a lot of pursuit sequences. It's not until like the final showdown that you do get, which comes out of fucking nowhere, that you see one of these things like cause some havoc. Overall, when you see these things, it is quick cutaways. And they're not doing shit, and because of that, they are not scary.
No. Well, he in fact, he like knocks a rock over, and they hear him, and they all turn around, and they're like, and he takes off running. He's able to like climb up a pipe to the other level, but he drops the Geiger counter, and we hear the chuds coming, but we don't even really see them pursue him. We hear them. We know they're pursuing him because he's running and he's looking behind him, and we hear their noises, but we don't see him in motion. We don't see them really do much of anything. This is when Lauren is alone in her apartment. And this broad, take your fucking luggage upstairs. Literally, anything she needs, she has to go down in the basement. And instead of carrying the box of whatever it is she needs upstairs, she'll just take it out of the box. Oh, I need a spoon. I'm going to go down in the basement. Take the fucking box of spoons upstairs with you, and you don't have to keep going down in the basement, because she has to go down in the basement again. And when she's down there, she hears noises. That would be enough for me to go upstairs. I'd be like, I'm done. What does this broad do? There's a trap door on the basement floor. First of all, my ass is never opening a trap door that's on the basement.
Never. If it goes down to a sewer, that's how you let homeless people into your house. Do not open that door.
Especially when you hear growling coming from it. But She opens it and she climbs down it. And as she gets to the bottom of it, she comes face to face with that poor dog,
the Yorkshire Terrier.
Yeah, hanging on the leash. You know what? I don't want to see a dead dog, but I will say this one looks pleasantly happy. Like it has a big old smile on its face, even though it's dead. I'm like, okay, well, at least they make it look happy.
For being a mutilated dog, I really was expecting more. I mean, I guess I shouldn't want to see a mauled dog, but like this is a bloody dog, but it still looks, it's got button eyes. I mean, it is a happy dead dog. It could have been so much worse. And now we know, now we know that this is the dog from the opening. Everything's starting to come full circle. You've been waiting for her to go down in that she was down there earlier and she was tempted. So now she's down there and she leaves the fucking thing unlocked, that goddamn bitch.
She leaves it unlocked. And now we hard cut to the riverfront. At this point, I don't know what day it is. I don't know how much time has passed. Bosch is everywhere. And he shows up here. There's this man who apparently found a body and a head floating in the bay. And we go down with Bosch and these 2 deputies, and we immediately see this floating head. And it's Bosch's wife. And they're like, go get him out of here. It's his wife. It's his wife. At this point, I would expect that this man would have a breakdown. He does not. He goes to the bar with his deputy, and the deputy is like, let me just take you home. And he does have this moment that I guess is supposed to be like heavy, where he's like, home? I don't have a home now. She was my everything. All she wanted to do was take our dog for a walk. And she worked so hard at her college career.
But it's delivered as like a really stoic monologue. There's no emotion. He doesn't shed a single fucking tear. He just looks off like that child from earlier that just looked off dead-eyed into space. And he delivers this monologue. It's so weird. And if it doesn't feel like emotional at all. And again, it's not like he can't deliver a monologue. He's a fully capable actor. But like, I would have been like, okay, man, like, I need a little more sorrow. I need you to be a little like less just intense and more sad. This poor woman.
Can you shed a tear for this woman? And then it's like back to business as usual. He has this little spiel, and we see him in the next scene. He's perfectly fine. So back at the apartment, Lauren calls the police about this mangled dog in her basement. She wants someone to come check it out, and they do send 2 officers. But she also decides to take a shower at this moment. And while she's showering, it's intercutting with the creature, the rubber hand, opening the trap door that she left unlocked in the basement and crawling out.
I do want to point out, I just want to go back. We didn't talk about the actual head of the wife. I think that's a pretty good effect. Let me say that.
Yeah, it is. You're right. We skipped over. It does look pretty damn good. There's another decapitated head later on that looks really fucking good too. So the effects team could create really fucking good effects. I just don't know why they didn't do it with the monsters.
Yes. Yeah. And now that's why I wanted to say, for every rubber hand we get a moment or two of gore that actually look pretty good. I think there's more potential. They should have showed more of that kind of thing, because I think they can pull it off. The creatures, though, leaving something to be desired. And so you do have this whole building up moment here, as you're starting to see, like, implying that the creatures are entering the building, but it's a lot of shots of like the stairwells, the doors, and then you see that fucking rubber hand, and it's such a rubbery hand, and it's like, I just wish these things were scarier more often, because they're setting it up to be this really kind of creepy sequence, and then as soon as you see the thing, it's kind of like, oh right, that's right, yeah, that's what you look like.
That's one of the big issues with the movie is like, yeah, once you get to see the creatures, they're so kind of just underwhelming. I mean, I don't know necessarily how I would design them, but obviously there was some budget behind this movie with some of the effects and stuff they were able to pull off in some of these sequences. There was some money, there was a budget here, so I would have preferred that them spend a little bit more on the creature design, because that is really what is selling your film. You're selling this as a creature film, creatures from the sewer, radioactive creatures from the sewer. I would expect them to look a little bit more elaborate or a little bit better designed than this. But yeah, Lauren's in the shower. Her drain is clogged. So she reaches out and gets a coat hanger to sort of shove down the drain to help unclog it. And she is immediately sprayed in the face by blood. Just blood squirting everywhere. This is like the Shining elevator squirting in her fucking face. I'm like, where is this coming? Is this a dog's blood? Whose blood is this?
Well, and she's not screaming. She just stands there and she's like, oh, like she like, and it sprays her all over. And then it like awkwardly cuts. Doesn't it cut to the diner? Like it cuts
it cuts to the diner.
Like, and like the music and everything, like it just cuts to this very different energy. And like, this should have been such like a big, like, I call them tuning fork moments. Like there's things that hit and you should like feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you should feel it reverbing in your body. This moment, whatever causing, because the whole setup, using the pipes and everything, like that makes sense. It all ties to the sewers, but it just starts spraying blood. I don't know. Like, did she hit an artery? Like what the fuck? What's in that pipe? Like, why is it bleeding?
And it's so awkwardly kind of edited too, because when the first time I watched this, I didn't know what happened. I was like, wait, did she just get killed? Like, is this her blood? And then I had to rewind it, like, oh no, it came out of the drain. But like, it's weirdly edited as well, and like her reaction is zero. She's just like, oh, and I'm just like, whose blood is this? Like, I guess we're supposed to insinuate it's homeless people's blood, but why is it in her? I don't know. But we cut to this diner, Roger, and I will tell you, I was not expecting Dan Connor to show up.
I didn't even know until you said it. I'm gonna say I didn't even know it was fucking him. I legit didn't even I didn't look it up on IMDb because he wasn't that big of a character. Good for him.
But this is John Goodman.
Wow.
And Jay Thomas. Very small cameos here. And, they are in this diner and they're basically like sexually harassing this waitress. And she's just having a good old time with it. And while they're in there, joking around with her, these two, vagrants are outside drinking, and they are like, one of them's like passed out drunk as the other one starts to notice that the sewer lid is opening up. This fucking creature crawls out of it. He has no choice but to run away and leave his friend passed out on the sidewalk there in front of this diner. And again, if Roger, this is an opportunity. I mean, you were giving us a fucking sewer creature full on attacking John Goodman in a diner. Like, this could have been so awesome, and it wouldn't have taken much at all. Like,
oh my God,
all
Troy.
we see, literally, Roger, all we see is John Goodman, Jay Thomas, and this waitress talking, and they hear something, and they turn around, and we see the big fucking glowing eyes looking in the glass, and then we hear the glass break. It cuts away to dark, and all we hear is them screaming. Like, we do not see nothing. We don't see the chuds going in. Can you imagine, like, if 4 or 5 of these chuds like came into this diner and just like, you could have had something fucking great here, and you get nothing.
It pisses me off. I fucking love like a siege moment, and like these people trapped in this building, and like you see the waitress start to react, and then it cuts outside. And what's even worse is like you see the aftermath. Like there's a big news crew that circles the diner and all these locals. You finally get what feels like a busy New York street for a minute here. And it's all around this diner because it's, it's reported what happened. And like the outside, like if you look at like the windows busted in, there's blood everywhere, all over the walls, the windows. And it's like, why would you give us this amazing, like, gory display if you're not going to show like what it led to that? Like this is a horror movie. At the end of the day, this is not only a horror movie, this is like you said, creature feature. This is like a video nasty in a way. So get fucking nasty. Like, why is there not more? There's so much opportunity to get so violent and gross with this, and it just ends up kind of falling flat and feeling kind of boring, and that pisses me off.
Yeah, I was so disappointed. Oh my God. Because the potential here could have been great. But instead we cut back to Lauren getting dressed. Out in the hallway, that little bullheaded kid is playing with his ball when his ball rolls in front of the basement door and something's banging on it. And he hears it, like he's looking, and this is the moment, like I said, how great would it have been if this little boy would have opened the door and we just saw the chud hand come out and yank him down in the basement. That's all. I don't need to see the kid be mutilated, but just have some balls, movie. Have some balls.
Or like have him open the door and have him just like look up and see the legs of the thing standing there, and then it just reach down and pick him up and cut away. Something like that. And then, or have the mom come in and react. Like what ends up happening, like, because you have so many things happening at once. The kid keeps going back and forth. The door is being busted in. Why is the mom not like, oh, there is clearly someone breaking into my house. My child couldn't be busting a door in. He is a chubby-cheeked baby who can barely walk. He's not busting no doors in. And the mom's like, what are you doing? Come in here. And like, this door's getting like beat in by this like fucking thing to the point that it busts it. It does break it off the fucking hinges eventually. And then there's no fucking conclusion. And I'm like, listen, you don't have to go too far with it. You don't have to go too far at all, but at least show the mom screaming in terror. Give me something. Like, you're setting up all of these scenarios that have so much promise for payoff, and you're getting lazy is the thing. You're getting lazy. And maybe I feel like maybe the creature effects here, they realize like they were better if they just showed glimpses of them, and that's why it's so quick, and that's why it's just like close up and cut away. Because maybe they started to realize these things were not as effective as they wanted them to be. And so they're like, the less is more. But unfortunately, for a lot of these scenarios, it needs so much more. And this is just something that was just like, I was bummed. I really expected so much more of a payoff, and you just don't get it.
But the moment that he, the thing busts through the doors, the moment he gets his ball and runs away, and like we're left with really nothing. It was just kind of a throwaway scene. And that's the last we hear of the mother and the kid. But cops now are all over the diner. And yeah, you're right. This is the first time this actually looks like New York City. There is blood everywhere. Like we see that there's a huge trail of blood that leads out of the diner and right into the manhole, which I thought was kind of cool. That is cool. Like, wow. But like it's a fleeting moment. So Wilson, our antagonist, twirling his mustache, is there. And he demands that all manholes be blocked off in a 10-mile radius. And this is when we see like all these trucks get into action and take off and like park literally on the manholes so that nothing can get out. We know down below, George is still down there. Shepard is still down there. George is on his own because he just saw Murphy get attacked by one of these chuds. He is running through the tunnel. He was smart because he did take Murphy's gun. He gets into Vic's room and like there's a couple of dead bodies on the floor. And Roger, this is another moment that I thought, okay, why didn't we see more of this? Like, because I totally forgot, because it hasn't been like hammered home, the fact that these monsters, humans turned into these. They were human. We get this very brief moment where George sees these dead bodies on the floor of Vic's room. Vic's on the bed, like sitting up now, kind of in the corner. George goes to approach him and Vic turns around and he's like, all they did was maybe put some like gray makeup on his face. He's supposed to be turning into one of these monsters, but it's, again, I don't know how you feel, but a complete failure of like makeup effects. Again, painted a little bit gray and he's like, he's just like sort of like hissing and George shoots him. And then like, he thinks he's dead and Vic sits back up and like his eyes are starting to glow a little bit and George shoots him again and he's dead. I would have loved to have seen this elaborated on more, like humans turning into these. Why couldn't we get like a full like transformation, like American Werewolf in London transformation scene of someone turning into one of these things? Like what causes you to turn into one of these things? Now I'm assuming it's because he got bit by one. Is this like a zombie sort of thing? If you get bit by one of these creatures, you turn into one. I don't know, because this sort of mythology is never explored.
I almost forgot that this even fucking happened. Like, that's the thing is like, even in reviewing it, like I have the note here, but I completely forgot this is a side thing because you're absolutely right. Like, it's like all of a sudden he gets down there. There's this great torso reveal of that Hugo who's like, he sees him laying on the floor. And so when he comes around the corner, you see that he's like ripped in half and his guts are hanging out. It actually looks great. So it opens strong. And then you've got this moment where, yeah, like it almost feels like you used American Werewolf in London. Like, and that's like a really good kind of body horror note here to kind of build off of. Because these things, like, he does not look like a chud. Like, let's be clear. He just looks like gray. And it's creepy in its own right. But you know what it is? It feels like a zombie. Like, it doesn't feel any different from a zombie. And so now he's very much just a zombie. And I kind of was like, listen, I love a zombie, but like, I'm not here to see a zombie. I'm here to see a chud, a cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller. And like, I almost would have liked if like you couldn't pass it on through a bite, like let it just be from exposure, like create your own lore, you know? So this, I didn't need this to happen. Like, it's not a bad scene, but he shoots him in the chest twice. Guy's dead. You got a good torso shot. That's about it.
That's it. And then out of nowhere, that fucking broad shows, that bag lady shows up and like bashes George in the head. And then she's like, you killed my brother.
Oh, she says it real maniacal like. She's like, you killed my brother. And like, I know we keep throwing shit out here. I thought she was cool with George.
I know, she called him. He was the person she called when she got arrested, but now she's gonna kill him?
Like, she hasn't even been around this whole time. She just came back. And that's all you do with her?
But then I like that immediately she's pushed over by fucking Shepard.
Like a sack of potatoes. She just dropped, and like, you don't see, and this is another thing. Like, you know, if you're going to dispose of this woman, like, show her get knocked to the ground and then, I don't know, show him curb stomp her head. Something. But she just dropped off camera and then you never see her again. I don't know. Like,
I was wondering if she died or what's going on here.
I mean, yeah, show her head bust into the wall or something. Explain it. But don't just not show her again. This woman, I thought, was a pivotal part of this story.
Not anymore. So at the diner, all the cops and stuff are still there. Boss shows up and basically confronts Wilson about you have been lying the whole time and has caused people to die, including my wife. He's having this fucking screaming at Wilson. It's a good moment for the actor. The actor delivers the scene very well. And then like the news people are there. They're doing a report about a massacre. Even though they can't confirm anybody died because there's no bodies. Lauren is watching the news and she hears on the news that they are having basically the gas lines converted to the city sewer system. So now she has to rush out to get Cooper because she knows George Cooper is in the tunnels. And so when she goes to open the door, she sees like that fucking C.H.U.D coming up the stairs.
And it's just so anticlimactic. She just opens the door, she looks down, and it's like looking up like, oh, hello. Like it's like this quick cut over shot of his face. He's not rushing at her or anything. He's just standing there. And so she just runs back inside. And for a minute, she becomes fucking Alice from Friday the 13th. And she literally uses every item in her house to barricade her inside this fucking apartment.
That's what I was thinking. She puts everything about the fucking kitchen sink in front of this door, but then she does what Alice does too and starts pulling it away the minute she thinks they're safety. I'm like, bitch, leave it there. She barricades herself in. George and Shepard realize basically it's because they're trying to get out. They're running to each manhole cover, climbing up. They're realizing they're blocked in. Like they're darting, trying to get to the next one before it gets blocked. And every time they get there, it's just, they're locked in. I do like this moment where Lauren like hears the cops pull up and she sees them pull up, but like she doesn't open the window and scream at them to like, hey, there's a monster in here. Instead, she just like lets them enter the building. And the second they enter the building, they're grabbed
by rubber arms.
Do we see what happens to them? No.
Of course not. It makes me so mad. There's so many. How many people, Troy, have just died in the past 10 minutes of this film? How many people have we witnessed die that we didn't actually witness die? I'd say there's been like 10 off-screen deaths, and it pisses me off.
George and Shepard, as they're going through this tunnel, they come into this room where this room is just full of like, I guess, barrels of toxic waste. And Shepard is like, oh my God, this is Wilson's personal poison dump. I mean, he's lying to us because there's no way this stuff has just been passed through here. He's been doing this for years, because we can see these barrels are old. There's no way they are just freshly. And then we see, after all, Roger, that C.H.U.D doesn't stand for cannibalistic humanoid gutter dweller or whatever, urban dweller. It stands for, because it's right on the front of these containers, it stands for contaminated hazardous urban disposal.
I mean, that's just confusing. Which one is it? First of all, like,
I don't know.
I'm guessing it's not the latter, because that's boring. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller is way more up my alley. But regardless, who's going to be that sloppy baby about this, dumping this fucking nonsense down here willy-nilly for any homeless person to stumble upon it, I don't know, eat or whatever the fuck they're doing to turn into these things. But so you're just popping this shit down there, but you're also leaving your fucking full like business card with it too. Like you're like, it says the name of the project. It's all over these things. It's a C.H.U.D. And I'm like, at least be fucking more discreet about it. Get rid of the labeling. You're paid over or something, and then just dump it down here. So you're not going to have random people like George wandering on this shit, discovering all your dark secrets.
So at the same time, above, Wilson has ordered, he's ordering now, at this moment, let the gas be unleashed into the tunnel. So the clock's a-ticking, because Shepard and fucking George better get their asses out of there, because they're about ready to be gassed to death.
Well, and let's also acknowledge one thing. The concept of being gassed to death sounds unpleasant, but you know what? It is not visually exciting. There's nothing, it's not like anything's happening. They're starting to get worn out. They're starting to feel the effects of the gas, but like, it's not like everything's burning, or I don't know, they're filling it with water, something where time feels of the essence.
Yeah.
They're trying to add something that you can't really see. And so thus it just doesn't feel like, it's not amping it up at all.
No, I mean, they're just trying to run from manhole to manhole, and along the way they do find the all the tore up, mutilated bodies of their workers that were down there earlier, the ones in the white suits. They see a camera, like the video camera that these workers were using to communicate with above is still there. So Shepard rushes over and gets it, and he's trying to record himself, and he realizes there's no audio. And George is like, who cares? Let's just get the fuck out of here. We don't have this time. And he's like, no. Look, we need to find the headphones. And they look around and they see that amazing looking decapitated head. One of the best decapitated head effects I've seen in a long time. I will give it that. But it's wearing the headphones. And we see like neck meat and shit hanging out of it. Very well done.
Very well done. And let's talk about this gay man that's just sitting there. This
Oh my
prissy gay
God.
bitch. That's me with the mustache sitting there, just sitting being prissy, Miss Priss. And all of a sudden they put on the headset. He's like, who are you? And he's like, that gay homosexual. That's me.
How long has he been sitting there, though? I mean, these guys have been dead for a while.
You know, he's sitting there bitching to himself. He's like, I could be out tonight. I could be with the girl. But here I am. Just me and my mustache. But yeah, he's there. And he looks over and he's like, oh my God, what's happening? So they've made contact with this gay man.
It was going to be their saving grace. A gay saves the day, Roger. A gay saves
every
the
time. Every time. That's our new podcast where we find gays that save the day. And we talk about them.
So back at Lord's apartment, the C.H.U.D is banging on the door trying to get in. And and it's able to break in the door with its fucking glowing eyes. That's all we see, the fucking glowing eyes. And she runs and like hides in George's film development room. She like climbs on top of a shelf and like watches it come in. And when it gets in there and it's like looking around, she grabs that photo developer liquid and throws it in its eyes and then like jumps down and locks it in the room.
I mean, going for the eyes seems like a wise call with this thing because it's such a prominent aspect of what make a C.H.U.D a C.H.U.D. So like I'd be like, go for the eyes because they're so big and they're bright yellow and they're just glowing. And so, but like she like somehow she manages to grudge child her way up onto that bookshelf. Like, you know, the grudge kid is always just like up on a bookshelf. She's just up there. She like jumps that fucking bleach or that photo development liquid on the eyes. And then she like busts out of the room and she's got a sword. I don't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. First of all, is it a sword? She's got a sword, right?
She grabs it from the wall. It's like hanging on the wall. And she grabs it. Yeah. And she's standing there like,
do they ever acknowledge the sword before this?
But she's standing there like Uma Thurman holding that damn sword, waiting for the fucking C.H.U.D to come out.
Okay. No offense, Lauren, but let's just get it out. Lauren, you've been fine. Anybody here does not deserve the final showdown with one of the C.H.U.Ds. One of the C.H.U.Ds. It ain't you, honey. You've been busy showering and finding blood pockets in your fucking sewer tanks. Like, whatever the fuck that nonsense was that you dealt with. But you've really not been doing... You're pregnant. I mean, good on you for defending your unborn child, I guess. But like, overall, like, if you were going to sit down and watch this movie, would you really think that the person that's going to get the final showdown is going to be fucking blonde Lauren? I did not think that was going to be the case.
No, but she looks like she has handled the sword. Like, I mean, she's getting in that ninja stance.
She's a model,
I guess.
I mean, maybe she's had a pose with the sword.
She is, but she's sitting there waiting for it. She's waiting for it to come out of the door of the development room. But all of a sudden, it busts out of the sidewalk.
This thing is superhuman out of fucking nowhere.
Oh, I like this moment, though, because it's kind of a cool... I've bitched about the creature design the entire film, and I still maintain it's terrible. But like, there is this one moment where we see like it looking around, and its neck is like extending. It's like, rrr.
Where the fuck has that been? My whole life, this whole life of this fucking movie that will never end. If you would have given me them long neck monsters, if you would have had their little heads coming around corners in them sewers, you would have had me hook, line, and sinker.
Or just heads coming out of the manholes.
Yeah, that's my remake.
Like a cobra. A cobra coming out.
Fighting the girl and the dog, pulling them down. But like, I mean, that is what when you're telling me you're giving me cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers, that neck for the length of the film, the fact that they're like, oh, we're holding this ace up our sleeve until the very last minute, it seems like a big disappointment. Sure, it looks great. She lops that head off, easy as butter. This girl's killed before. There's no question about it. But she chops the head off, and then it bites her ankle. So I've got questions about that. It could just nibbles on. They blatantly show it nibble on her ankle. So is she a chud now? I would love that if that would have been the ending. But no, I mean, like, tell me that this moment didn't need to go for 5 more minutes, full Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It could have been something great. It's still good, but it's so abrupt and out of nowhere, and I am not expecting her to wield that fucking sword. So it just feels very like, what the fuck just happened?
And just that she wastes no time lopping its head off, and when she does, like toxic green waste gushes out that's just bright neon green and all over the floor. And yeah, the little head like crawls across the floor and like grabs her ankle and it's like biting on her ankle. She's like kicking it away. Like, so now these things can live without their heads. There's just a lot of questions that are coming up, but we don't get answers because we go back to Bosch, who has gotten a radio call from his deputy back at the station, who tells him that she got a phone call from that gay man who has a message for Bosch that Shepard is in the NPR room in the tunnel where everyone was killed. So Bosch immediately like radios that room and gets Shepard and is able to like tell him where to go. He's like, where are you guys at? Okay, you got to go 100 yards more to the right. Go to the next manhole. I'm going to go uncover it. So he is like screaming, hey, who has the keys to the truck on manhole number 12? I need him. And there's another gay man, Roger. This other gay gentleman comes up with the keys. He's like, I have them. Here they are. It's like, oh, we're in Soho. We're in Soho.
They're representing in this film. I'll say that. They're representing.
What I also didn't expect is for Lauren to get in that fucking cop car and speed away.
Lauren's really coming out of nowhere. She's coming out swinging. And I mean, I didn't know she had this in her. I thought she was frail and fragile. She's the only one who's really properly killed one of these things. And she did it with a fucking sword. Like, lest we forget. And now she comes out and she's like, who the fuck is in charge? She's like, who is in charge? Tell me who I need to speak with. My husband's in the fucking sewer. And she's getting shit done. And then Bosch has this whole fucking confrontation that happens. Like, things are starting to pick up. At least, like, if you want to raise stakes, at least for this, like, final kind of stretch here, things are starting to happen. I wish we could have had this energy the whole film. But, like, there's this whole showdown here with Wilson that, like, kind of takes a really shocking turn, honestly.
Well, yeah, he goes from being, like, maniacal to just being downright, like, fucking evil. Yeah, because he realizes what Bosch is doing, and he goes up to Bosch. He's like, you cannot do this. It's too risky. He's like, risky for who? You don't want people to find out who you really are. That's what this is about. Maybe the press needs to hear about this. And Wilson's like, come on, just come. Let's get away from everybody and come over here. So he takes him around the corner to talk to him. He's like, I can't let you do this. He pulls a fucking gun on him. He's like, you're going to shoot me. He's like, if I have to. And he realizes, like, you, dude, are basically nothing but like the government's garbage man. He's like, all you've been doing is taking toxic sludge from every research project and dumping it below our city for years. Give me the fucking keys back. And Wilson's like, I can't do that. I will shoot you. Bosch wastes no time fucking slugging this man in his fucking smug face, knocking him out, and grabbing the gun and the keys. Or grabbing the keys, he doesn't grab the gun. And he literally like runs to the truck that's blocking the manhole, because here we have poor George and AJ trying to get out of this manhole before they're fucking gassed to death.
There's a lot of things happening here. There are a lot of things happening. And I like in this movie when there's a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people get knocked out really easy here. But like, he basically like bitch slaps this guy and he just goes down. I mean, Wilson is down for the count. And yeah, so he's moving the vehicle. And then he gets out and fucking Wilson fires on him and shoots him. And I was like, whoa, like this really just got heightened. Wilson is now just basically willing to kill. This seems like a really quick development, does it not?
Yeah, I was shocked because not only does he try to kill Bosch, which I'm still questioning, did Bosch die? But we'll get there in a minute. But like, Yeah, so Bosch moves the truck from the manhole cover and goes over and pries it open so that George and AJ can get out. But the minute he pries it open, he is shot in the back by Wilson, and Wilson comes up and gets in the truck as Shepard and George get out of the manhole, and he literally, Roger, he is going to mow these two men down in this fucking bread truck, and he's like flooring it, coming at him, and this is when Shepard grabs the gun from Bosch and fucking shoots. And he literally ends up shooting Bosch in the chest. And the poor bread truck crashes into the manhole and like blows up.
This truck blowing up, I don't think that would happen. I mean, like, I believe like if there would be an accident, but like, and also I got so many questions because this is the end of the movie. Would that not have caused a significantly larger explosion because that open manhole has gas flowing through it? There is definitely gas involved here. Maybe that's why the explosion happened to begin with, but I think the streets would be on fire. Like, this seems like the worst possible scenario. But okay, the final showdown is not with a C.H.U.D. It is with Wilson in a bread truck. And it just feels like, of all the things I needed this movie to end on, it was not what I just got. I needed 30 C.H.U.Ds invading the city, tearing women and babies apart, devouring families. I needed C.H.U.Ds aplenty. I don't even know if the C.H.U.Ds are still alive. I don't know how many. There were more than one. She killed the one. Lauren, send her after him. Give her a fucking sword and send her into the sewers. She's more capable than all of you.
Oh, yeah, no, Roger. I really was like watching this film with my mouth aghast when this ending happened because, yes, why are you giving me a movie called C.H.U.D, promoting it as you're promoting it? Because the cover art is all about the month. And literally the last showdown, the real antagonist of the film is Wilson. I mean, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I was waiting for like all of a sudden the C.H.U.Ds to come out of the sewer and start attacking, and them to have to battle. Nope. The bread truck's burning. Fucking Lauren and George are embracing, and he has this whole fucking breakdown. And then you hear Bosch you hear a voice say, "Nice shot." And like, Shepard looks down and it's Bosch, and he's like, "Bosch, you're alive." And then you hear Bosch again say, "Nice shot." And then it cuts to George and Lauren hugging, and then it cuts back to AJ Shepard looking at Bosch, and now Bosch looks dead. I'm like, did he die?
He looks very much dead.
Yeah, but he was just a wide awake with a big old smile on his face saying, "Nice shot."
If it's a death, it's the least effective death. It's like the least climactic death I've ever seen on camera. Because this guy, for being a major character, I should not be questioning if he's alive or not. I should have a surefire either dramatic moment of him saying farewell and dying and then mourning him, or a moment like they just had where it's like celebrating that he's alive and they, like, I don't know, help him to his feet or something. But for me, I think he died. I don't know. I definitely don't know what happened to the C.H.U.Ds. I don't know what happened to that woman and that fairy woman and her small child. There are so many questions unanswered. I don't think the sequel is going to answer them for me. I'm pretty damn convinced that won't be the case.
No, because I read the synopsis for the sequel and it seems like it's not even connected to this one. I mean, the only connection is the C.H.U.Ds, but it's a completely different story. It's like, high school kids break into a toxic waste facility to play a prank, and they end up unleashing a C.H.U.D because it's C.H.U.D 2, Bud the C.H.U.D. So I think it definitely takes the more comedic route. I haven't seen it. So listeners, if you've seen it, you can tell me if I'm off base or if it's worth watching. But yes, what an anticlimactic ending for a monster in a sewer film, because the last frame of the film is literally Lauren and George hugging as the bread truck burns. And that's it. It's one of those films, Roger, that I'm struggling with. Like, would I recommend it? And I hesitantly say yes, because I do think that the ending is fast paced and stuff, but like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this one. I think that there's way too much stuff in the film that could have been replaced with what the film truly is supposed to be, which is a monster film. I don't need 20 minutes of a meeting between a commissioner and two characters. I don't need all this police procedural jargon. The film takes way too long to get to where it needs to go, but when it finally does, I mean, there are some really cool things, but fuck, this has to be, I don't want to say this. This has to be the monster film in the annals of horror history. I feel like this is the monster film that least wanted to be a monster film ever made.
Yeah, it's disappointing because I feel like there's this fondness that exists for this movie, and I don't want to like shit on anyone's joy that they're going to take from any film they're going to watch, but like there's so many things that I was hoping for out of this revisiting, and it's been so long. It really has. So many things I was hoping for that I just didn't get. And like I normally would be like, you know what? Fuck it. But like honestly, like this movie had all of the aces in its pocket. Like all of the everything was in its favor. It was the perfect recipe for something that should have worked. Like you've got, again, it's in the name. You've got cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dwellers. Like let them dwell underground. Let them do their thing and don't bog it down with so much like police procedural storyline and so much of this fucking weird developing relationship. You could have cut one of the storylines here and still told the story the same, and it would have just let this thing breathe so much. It almost makes me think of like, and this is not a perfect film in any way, but like The Relic is a film that had a heavy police procedural and a heavy scientific storyline, but they danced together. It wove together. And even though it's not the best film we've ever covered, it's a damn entertaining film for the most part. And they really do a good job of bringing those worlds together, letting them coexist. Here, it feels like they're trying to tell two separate stories. And unfortunately, what suffers because of that is the chuds. We do not get enough of them because they are too busy bogging us down with just unnecessary exposition.
Yeah, I mean, you could have easily cut about two of these characters out and really focused on pick one, because I don't know who the lead is, but you could have cut a couple these characters out. And yeah, I just don't understand why you would, I guess one thing that surprised me about the film is it's way more serious than I thought it would be tonally. Because I've always, again, like I told you, I don't think I've ever seen this film. I thought I did, but I must have been watching something else. But from my, from what I've seen posted about the film or from what I've heard over the years from horror fans, I expected it to be something different. Like I expected it to be more of a monster film, more of a cheesy popcorn, sit back and just enjoy these monsters, sewer monsters creating carnage. And it's not that. So I was super surprised. I guess that's the biggest takeaway from this film is if you're going into this, if you've never seen it and you're going in expecting what I just described, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. Again, I still recommend, I guess, checking it out just because I think there are some good scenes in here. But yeah, I will say I just did not meet my expectations. And I feel like, yes, this would be a film that could benefit tremendously from a remake that leaned more into the monster aspect of the film.
I agree. I would love to see a remake of this film because there's something about just the concept here that I think missed opportunity here. I'd love to see it done better. This is one that I think we really could almost give it almost like the Blob treatment in a way, like you go all out. There's so much room to do something wild here. And there's glimmers of what could have been. I really think something cool could happen if the right director got their hands on this. But you know what? Hey, for nostalgia's sake, a lot of those visuals, I remember them from an early age. It was cool seeing it again. And I'm happy we covered this one. I feel like this is one of those titles that as a horror movie podcast, we owe it to the fans. I know there's a lot of C.H.U.D fans out there. Hopefully you took our words respectfully. I understand that there's a big fan base here, and I'm not trying to take away anyone's joy with this title. I get it. I do.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But yeah, if you are one of the fanboys of C.H.U.D, please let us know. Let us know, what this film gives you that makes you a diehard fan of it, or just tune in and let us know your overall thoughts. Also, if you would love to show us some love in this new year, 2025, give us a 5-star rating, maybe write a little review on Apple Podcasts for us. And yeah, I guess, Roger, I mean, this was your pick. So I have not even disclosed to you, given you any clue of what my pick for the next episode is. So are you up to hear it?
Oh my God. Yes. I'm titillated.
Okay. Well, hopefully you're titillating.
Oh, I am.
Your tits are lating.
Oh.
But I feel like, you know what? It's a film that's been on my list since I started the podcast, and it's a newer film. You're going to be surprised.
Oh.
And I feel like with the substance and all of the awards accolades that are going on with the substance, 5 Oscar nominations, including Best Director, I feel like it's kind of a perfect time to cover this film because I loved this film upon initial viewing, and it is Oscar nominee Coralie Farge's first film, her first feature, and it is Revenge.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. There's a lot of dong in this one, from what I remember. Is that right?
There is a lot of dong in this film.
La. Gays, put on your star earrings. Let's get ready.
And I just feel like it's kind of I haven't watched it for a while. I do remember like posting that it was one of my favorite films of the year. But now that the substance is getting all this attention and she's getting all this attention, now she's an Oscar nominated director. I just want to remind people that this was her first film and to go back and watch it. So, it's a rape revenge film. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about that, but I think this one is done from a perspective of a female, which is very rare, which gives it just a whole unique perspective that I'm super excited to discuss with you, Roger, next week. So Coralie Farge's it's Revenge.
Oh my God. I'm excited. I think this is a title that a lot of our listeners are actually going to have a soft spot for. So I think that's a good call. We couldn't pick better timing for it. But till then, guys, we want to hear it from you. It's, we want to hear commentary. We want to hear feedback. Maybe see a 5-star review. It's been a minute since we've had one of those. Let us know. Let us know what your thoughts are on C.H.U.D, what you think of Dark Knight of the podcast.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. And we will be back next week. Roger's back.
I'm back. Oh my God. Good night.
Good night.